Bucks gang, Bucks fam. I see the lineup. I see y'all making your appearance. I'm gonna let the chat room build up. Hope everybody had a good holiday. I see you Sten 1, 2, 3. Loud LJ Plumber. Let's go Bucks. King Cook. Let's win. Playoffs, baby. Osh Twins. Josh Kyle. Let's go. 13 years. Osh Twins. Super Bowl. It did feel good. It did feel good. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Let's go. Let everybody come on in. Let everybody build this up. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, had a good holiday, whatever y'all celebrate. If you don't celebrate, I hope you had a great day, great week. Enjoy time with people, your loved ones, your family. Well, we're going to have a celebration today, y'all. We're going to have a celebration. So before I go into my little spiel, before I go into my little talk, just so y'all know, I will be opening up the locker room because I feel like everybody should have a voice up in here. Every Bucks fan should have something to say up in here. Everybody should let their excitement be vocalized as Bucks fans. I'm going to open it up to y'all. And y'all see I got a better light right now. So I'm on the come up. Let me give this a couple more minutes before I get this going. And I'm doing this while my son ain't here because if I get live, I ain't going to worry about disturbing anybody. But man, what a day. What a day to be a Bucks fan. A day that we didn't know when it was going to come. Now, we expected the playoff berth with Brady, but it got a little scary. So let's talk about it, y'all. Couple more minutes. Got the super chat from Alan Robinson. Appreciate it, my brother. Appreciate that. Shout you out. Alan Robinson. How about them Bucks, baby? Let's go. You already know. Give it a couple minutes, y'all. Couple minutes. Big win today. Big win today. Been a long time, Osh Twins. Brian Shaw, it's going to happen. With the game he had today, it has to happen. It has to happen. For Osh Twins, for sure. For sure. Got to cap off the end of the season with something special like that. All right, y'all. I'm going to get this going. As you already know who I am, this is Travis checking in with BucosLocker. Shout out to the Bucks gang, Skull gang, Sea Bandits, Bucks fans all around. And you already see the title of this video. Let's make some noise. The drought is over. You heard that. The drought is over. Bucks are in the playoffs since 2007. We missed the playoffs. Sorry, something's going on with my internet. Because we were behind the Saints team and the Falcons team that won 10 games and 11 games. But with this 10 game, it's not even over yet. We were clinched to be the wild card, 6th seed. So we're in there. Can't take us out. we put a stamp for our name in there. Now, Matthew Stafford went out. I mean, I was a little skeptical because I'm like, Matthew Stafford may light up our defense, but when he was taken out, I was like, well, it'll be given to us. So, offense was going to take off on this terrible defense, and defense had a playful, it was like they're on a playground out there. Now, special teams, this is not the time of year where special teams needs to rear its ugly head with those missed extra points, field goals, and punt returns. This ain't the time for that. All right? That was one thing I did not like to see in today's game. But, man, it was good to see what we can do when we're starting to click. It looks like we're still starting to click. Yes, it was a bad defense, but we were clicking. Mike Evans got over 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I want to shout this out really quick while I bring up that topic. Evans is breaking the record at home next week against the Falcons. That is a fact. Why not? He will break the record for another 1,000-yard season. I mean, he already broke his own record today. Tom Brady broke James's record today. So next week, we may not even play our starters full game. I can see us I can see us getting the win, but at the same time, I mean, bro, who knows? Bruce may pull us out. But we're in there, damn it. And so you know what, y'all? I mean, I really don't want to do too much talking because I really want to hear what y'all got to say. I mean, you already know I'm excited. I know Isaiah's excited. I know he's hyped. I know he's traveling right now, so he probably come on here and say what he has to say. But this is huge for the franchise. We all knew that we were going to break this playoff drought with Brady. And he's only here for 2 years. You already know the slogan here, Super Bowl or bust. So we're definitely in the playoffs. So the games are going to be as easy, but the first matchup is going to be an idea. I mean, right now we're going to be playing an NFC West team. So depending on who wins Sunday between Seattle or the LA will decide on who we play. I feel like we're going to play Seattle. I feel like Seattle will beat out LA today because the Cardinals are losing the last time I checked, and they're behind us anyway for that 6th seed. But let me not talk about that. This is celebration, y'all. This is a good time. Let's keep it positive up in here in this Bucos Locker episode and the Bucos Talk and the Locker Talk. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat, so we all can come on in here and chop it up, say what everybody has to say, and let's celebrate today, y'all. Let's talk about something good. Let's talk about how this is helping us out as fans. 1 second. So I just put the link for the stream so everybody to join. I know we got 15 people watching. Bucks broke the drought. Bucks are in the playoffs. And we already got somebody in here ready to talk about it. I see you, Lee. All right. I'm not going to waste any time, y'all. Let's celebrate. Lee, what up, homie?
What's going on, man? What's going on with you?
What's going on? The drought is over, my friend. What's going on?
Yeah, it's over, man. I mean, this is what, all the off season, this is what the build-up was supposed to be about. It's like we've been saying, Super Bowl or bust, but we need to get to the first steps, which is playoffs. But, we're here, and like you said earlier, it looks like the offense is clicking. Hopefully, it's clicking right now. I am concerned about the back end of the defense in the pass rush, but they're steady. They're average defense. So, I mean, you can win a Super Bowl with an average defense, but you need above average offense to really win if you have an average defense. The Chiefs are a prime example. So, I mean, I will put us at above average on defense because we can stop a run. But, as long as it seems as though with our team, if the offense is clicking, the defense plays lights out. I don't know if have you noticed that?
Oh, absolutely. But that's what the offense is supposed to do. The offense is supposed to electrify the team, sell tickets, and that defense, you have ball back, so the offense puts points back on the board.
Right. But, Tampa Bay's been notorious to the defensive team. in our past. So
Absolutely.
we still have we have defense at heart, but I mean these days it's almost like offense rules the day these days. I think the tide is turning. I mean, you still need at least average or above defense, and I think we have that. So if things are clicking on offense, I mean we definitely go to Super Bowl, man. It just it depends on the matchup. Like I think if we get Seattle, we're good. I think we could still beat the Rams. I think that was just a lot of miscommunication, but I definitely the Seahawks are way better matchup in my opinion. Their defense is not as strong as the Rams, and the offense is pretty legit. But I think we can shut down a run and make Russell Wilson throw the ball. So we're typically good to get Russell Wilson. But man,
that is true. That is true. I said that all year myself. Yeah, hey man, we have a reason to be. Where were you last time the Buccaneers? Where were you the last time the Bucs made the playoffs?
Man,
you don't gotta say your age, but where were you? What was going on the last time we made the playoffs in 2007?
Man, shoot, I probably was graduated out of college or some crap. Man, I don't know. I'm a lot older than you and Isaiah, I believe, but man, it's been a minute, man. It's been the last time. Yeah, it was the last time was with Gruden, man, and that it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. So it's like it feels good. It feels good. I think
what's funny
if they start clicking now, man, it's gonna be scary, and that's what I hope. We see games where they click, and you think, okay. So the Green Bay game was like almost fool goal to me. Because I'm like, man, if this the team we fielding, can't nobody beat us. But then, then we'll come and drop something and get like the Giants or something like that. And the Bears was a bad loss and we don't show up in prime time. Playoff is prime time. So it's time for this team to show up now. So, I'm excited. But I just, I'm always kind of
that's true.
Try to stay level-headed. Don't get too far ahead of myself.
We're a team that can beat. We're a team that we can beat Seattle. That Rams game was obviously a fluke. It was a bad performance by us because when we play against a team with a great pass rush, we do struggle, and that's something the Redskins do have. But if they're gonna have that one quarterback, if they're gonna have him play, then we have a chance because he's nothing special. Haskins. Even
if Alex Smith
that makes it a game for us because he's not special.
If Alex Smith play, I still think we could. I think our defense is enough to handle their offense. Now, offensively, we need to be a lot more balanced of going against a team like them, like Washington. But I'm really not really concerned, honestly. I know Washington got a good defense, but man, their offense is lacking. So I mean, we could get by on a team like that. I mean, they're similar to like the Bears, but probably not as disciplined as a Bears defense, I would say. But the Bears offense is a little bit better than Washington. Now they got some skilled players, but I'm out. Like I said, I'm not. I'll be okay if they get Washington, but I just don't hope they don't fold against a team like that. So I'm excited, man. I like your Bucks chain, your touchdown chain, man. But yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it, man, and hopefully Evans gets his record the next game. Not hopefully, he will. And then I wonder if they're gonna lay down against Atlanta, or are they gonna continue to, are they gonna rest the starters, or however that's gonna go? I'm not sure, but what are your thoughts about that?
I do think that when we play Atlanta, Bruce is going to let Mike Evans reach that record. He's Tom's going to want him to get that. Tom is one to let players break records. So he's going to try to get him that record. Depending on how it looks at halftime, they may put in Gabbard, and depending on how the game's on Sunday, because something that some coaches do is they know which matchups they're looking forward to and what they want. So they may say, let's take this L here because we're in the playoffs anyway. We're going to get this seed. We'll play this team, and we can start strategizing on that team. Then there's some coaches and teams like, we don't care. We're just going to go for the win, and whoever we get is whoever we get. But in this case, we know our depth isn't the greatest. So I think that if we could rest our starters at a certain point, sometime in the third quarter, that'd be the most ideal thing to do. Because I think as Bucs fans, we're not even thinking about the record. We're thinking about Super Bowl. So now that we're in, we're like, cool, let's go. Now, the only team I would say that we should fear is the Saints because, they have our number. But these other teams like Green Bay, any NFC West team, or like, Washington, we have a better chance against them. And then somebody actually put this in the chat that I actually want to highlight. Let me find out. Brian Shaw said, ideally some other team knocks off the Saints, which is possible because if you saw the game yesterday, Minnesota actually hung with them. And Minnesota's defense is not all that. And they forced 2 interceptions on Brady. So they had Kamara carry the load. So the Saints are looking like, when they don't have all their pieces, they're not that same team that we went against on Sunday Night Football. And, they struggle against these other teams. It's just, when you play division rivalries, you know them, so you know how to play them. You know how to combat them, especially if you play them twice a year.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a better matchup. I mean, the Saints have beat us in the past, but they're hurt, man. Mike Thomas is hurt. You know what I'm saying? Quan Alexander just got hurt. He out for the season. So, I mean, there's a lot of people. And Breeze is actually hurt. He playing hurt. So, I mean, if we control the run like we know we can, I mean, it's a good matchup. And then if Bowles, sits on all those routes, man, and push those receivers, sits on them. I'm talking about press man, make Breeze. I mean, he can pinpoint. He's an accurate passer, but man, make him instead of giving zone and give him areas to throw to. I mean, push the issue, man. You got to be super aggressive because Breeze hurt. He can't push that ball downfield like he normally can. And then like I said, Mike Thomas is hurt. I mean, it just you would think we have a better game plan. So, and the only thing I fear is the offense going against their defense. Their defense has actually been carrying them more so than the offense.
It has been. Their defense is very well. It's actually in the top 3, I think, especially in stopping the pass. And and that's because of assistance from their pass rush. And you got Lattimore and Jenkins. And then Gardner Johnson, they have great corners that that do their job. And the thing about them is, you mentioned Quan Alexander. I mean, as Bucs fans, we knew Quan wasn't going to finish the season. Let's just be real about it. Like when he signed him, I was just like, all right, he ain't going to play much, and history repeated itself. But you did see weak spots on their defense to how you can get up there. I mean, you get a good running attack, and you just find that one receiver underneath, you can definitely beat them because Lattimore's going to take a guy all game. And then Jenkins isn't always consistent, but you can make a play on Jenkins. He's just physical.
Right.
And we have enough weapons to where somebody has to be open. We have enough weapons for it. We just need to utilize it properly.
Right.
That's been get Rojo back.
Yeah, that's been the case all year though. I don't think this offense has been utilized in a way it can be. I would think any other offensive coordinator would have a field day with the weapons we got. I mean, there's so much you could when I look at Andy Reid and the Chiefs and how crazy his play calling and the alignments they do, we should be doing the same type of stuff. We got too many weapons. Now I know you can't roll out Brady a lot or whatever it may be, but I mean, he can do some button hook throws or some bootlegs, some crap, but put it in a repertoire, man. Do something, especially in our run set. Right, and we actually when we run the ball, what's going. As fans, we know. Oh, they finna run the ball. We can't. I mean, we don't even we barely run from shotgun. We don't mix it up at all, man. We just like, man, we know what we about to do, and they just sit here and stop it for a good defensive team. They can stop that crap. Like the Lions, they were trash. We gonna crush them.
Yeah, I mean their defense is one of the worst in the league, so we're expected to have a performance like that. We're expected to have our running backs get 20 some carries as a whole, not individually, but 20 carries. So we expected something like that. But when we play these playoff teams, as we all know, it's going to be a different ball game. The Rams defense is tougher than this. We know that. The Saints defense is tougher than this. Washington's defense is tougher than this. I say Seattle's defense is probably the weakest in the NFC right now.
Yes,
their defense is the weakest, and the only reason why they stay in the game is because of the offense, because of Russell Wilson.
Yes, I agree.
But when Russell Wilson had throw so much, struggle.
Right.
So that's why I say if we play them, that'd be a great matchup. For the Brady, you get pressure, he's gonna buckle. But when we played them, we didn't get that pressure to him. So good matchup on that on that spectrum. And somebody else pointed this out in the chat. Breeze, they're putting Breeze in the game, and he's hurt. And all that tells me as a NFL is you're desperate enough to win. That one loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in here because Taysom can't do it. He ain't gonna be a guy long enough. Once they got that loss, they rushed him back.
Right.
And that's not good because he takes another shot to the chest. You ain't gonna have him on playoffs.
No, you won't. You won't. And then it'll be going up against playoff teams. I think someone said in the chat with Isaiah some time ago, I think the last live he did, the locker room live he did, they were talking about that Saints really haven't beat anybody other than, like the Bucks. We beat the Green Bay, but the Saints only beat us, which is another playoff team. So they really, if you think about it, they haven't really beat anybody either. So, but they beat us,
no, they
unfortunately. But I think right now they're limping into the play. Even though their record is good, they're really essentially health-wise are limping into the playoff.
They are, and I think Sean Payton. You got to give credit to Sean Payton. He is an offensive coach, so he knows how to make things work with what he has. So he knows, okay, like you said, Mike Thomas is hurt. He's on the IR until playoffs. We know he's going to bring him back in the playoffs as soon as he feels comfortable needing him. But they have so many other receivers, especially the young guys that are trying to prove it. They may not even be there next year. He's trying to give them out there, and they're going to bust their ass because if they're not there next year, they have enough tape to say, hey, we can go here and play.
Right. But I think that's an advantage for our defense if we scheme it correctly, and what I'm worried about is our offense in facing the Saints. Any other team, like you said earlier, any other NFC team, I'm not even, the Rams probably give me concern because of Donald and their offense because they offer, I don't know what it is about the offense, but that we struggle with that offense.
It's how they play that pass. They base their receivers off of yak, and our secondary is where we're weak at. So we play that zone against them. Their receivers just going to get the ball and then take care of the rest after that.
Right. And Cooper Kupp, whatever his name is, that guy kills us, man. I'm like, how is this guy killing us like this, man? And it's always like, we can shut down the run, but, they still, the way that you have to honor the run because, it's still decent. But anyone other than the Saints and Rams, it's going to be, to me, it's going to be a problem. It won't be too much of a problem.
No. I felt like that Rams game we should have won.
Yes.
But of course, it was us prime time, and this isn't an excuse. It's just the way the season has gone. Prime time has not been our friend. So the fact that we lost by 3, there's life there, but we just didn't play them right. We could have definitely played a lot better on defense of Rams.
Right.
And the fact is they wanted to rely on Brady to come back, and as you saw with the pressure getting in his face, that's how you beat Brady. And that forced 2 interceptions. Right. And when he has multiple interceptions in the game, we've lost, and those happened on prime time.
And also some of the play calling has been suspect on that Rams game, that last drive. They're throwing verticals. Cameron Brate, why are you throwing to Cameron Brate? We have plenty of time to run. What are we doing? It's like, why are we calling verticals? It's not like if we have time, we have timeouts. What are we doing? Run the ball. So it's like, man, what kind of play calling is going on? And I don't know, man. It's just some of the play calling has just been absurd. As Isaiah and you have said before that, we get out coached a lot. That's what it is. We get out coached. And to me, it's they're being stubborn, man. They're being stubborn. Just adjust your game plan, man. Sometimes you got to do some different things. You know what I'm saying? You got to adjust, man. And we're not the type of. It's like our coaching staff won't do that.
You got to consider that we got a young offensive coordinator in Byron Leftwich, and I'll say this just for a fact. I'm not a fan, but you got a young offensive coordinator trying to figure it out. But when fans know what he's going to do, on offense, that tells you something.
Exactly.
You're very stale. You're very vanilla.
Right.
You're not creative at all. You don't see these other great teams pulling the same type of play. You see them pull the same plays on one drive because it's working, but you'll see them go to a different game, and you're like, damn, they did this play that I've never seen before. With a different formation. They do this all season. With us, it's run, screen pass to the receiver, throwing deep on 3rd and 1. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you
doing? Man. Right, man.
And we don't run the
my problem is, right. I don't mind them running.
We don't do motion.
Right, we don't do
play action. It's like you have all these weapons and utensils in your kitchen, and you're only using 2.
And we don't do a lot of bunch sets either. We motion out of the bunch. You're like, dude, just run. If you run that bunch set, that crap would scare a defense crazy. You got Godwin, Brown, and Evans in a bunch, and Gronk over here on this side. That would scare me crazy. But when you motion out of that, you telegraphing what the defense, what we finna do. And they can almost sit down on stuff, man. It's like, man, it got to be some more trickeration going on. I mean, not like trick plays, but it could be better.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I mean, unfortunately, we won't have this same roster next year. But imagine we did, and we had a better offensive coordinator, a better creative
Super Bowl.
We'd be a top 5 offense. This offense is in the middle of the pack. Any football fan looks at this team and they're like, why are you in the middle of the pack on offense with all the weapons you got? What does that tell you? When we were a top 3 in offense, based on yards, it was garbage time, but we weren't putting points up.
Yes.
It's insane. So when I listened to, who was it I was listening to? I think it was Chris Godwin. He said this on NFL, on one of the NFL networks. He was like, if we can be a team that clicks and gets it together, we could be unstoppable. But we still haven't found that identity yet. We're so consistent at being inconsistent, and it's sad.
Yes. I agree. I agree. As a fan, we know. And I don't know what it is. It's play design. I don't know I would think any other offensive coordinator other than Brian Leftwich could figure this thing out, man. They could come in and see all this and they could scheme it up and we'll just look outstanding other than what we look now. And even the way we look now, we're middle of pack and we're still, where we are in the playoffs. And that could be because Brady protected the ball and the defense is average, average or above. But and we didn't really necessarily beat ourselves other than a few games, the primetime games where we beat ourselves mostly. But we didn't beat ourselves in the past. And I'm not putting it on Jameis because I was a Jameis fan. But I knew some of the turnovers he threw, it hurt the team, man. And then you had to get trot the defense back on the field that wasn't that good in the first place. So it was like, man, we protected the ball more this year, and Brady was more accurate of a passer. Let's just be honest.
No, he is. I mean, that's we knew what we were getting with him coming at quarterback. He was going to protect the ball, make better throws. I will say that the games we have lost, those interceptions, they came at costly times. That's what nobody's talking about. With Jameis, it was about how many interceptions he was throwing. Brady has thrown interceptions at the worst time of games. So he may not have as many as Jameis, but these interceptions came at the worst time in games when we needed a touchdown, when we needed to score, we needed to get field goal position. So that's where a good amount of these losses came. I mean, granted, Chicago, LA, Chiefs, it's like these times, those interceptions came at the worst time.
Absolute worst.
Absolute worst. Yes, nothing near Jameis. Jameis, you knew an interception was coming, but you knew after the interception he was going to keep slinging that thing. You knew it. But overall, bro, man, I'm really curious to see what team we're going to get in the playoffs. I do believe we're getting it together. Brian Shaw saying that we're not in the middle of the pack when it comes to points. I didn't say. I mean, points, we're putting points up, but when it came to yards, we're not getting yards. That's what I meant by that, Brian. So, I mean, I know we're putting points up.
I think we're not as explosive as we think we should be. If we look at paper, like you said, if you look at this roster, you're like, there's no way in hell we shouldn't be explosive. We should be like the Chiefs South. That's what we should be like.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, we don't
necessarily
necessarily speed as a receiver, but we should be. I'm talking about if I'll nearly score at will. I mean, when we come out the field, when the last few games when they sputter on offense, it's mind blowing. How could you sputter? Is how could you be capable of even sputtering? How?
Yeah,
it just don't make any sense. That's what concerns me.
And the thing is, when you have your two receivers covered, you should have somebody there. And Off Twins point this out, which is very true. Patience in the pocket, left side, 76.
Yeah, it could be. 76 was. He's a problem, but sometimes it's the play calling. What I mean by play calling, the scheme to get people open. Because you're gonna get their number one corner on Evans, a number two on Brown or Godwin, and then you got Grunt or Brown or whatever in the slot or the tight end position. And then I mean, if our running backs could catch more consistently, it's still unstoppable if you think about it. It's ways to scheme that, man. It's ways. I mean, it got to be ways. I mean, there's no reason why this offense should sputter. So that's what scared me about the Detroit game. Believe it or not, I knew we was gonna win, but I was like, man, it's gonna be a convincing win. You know what I'm saying? And it was a convincing win.
I'll take the win. This win was huge, and and I want to point this out in the comments. Ryan pointed this out. I know you're showing up later in the conversation, Ryan. I mean, this whole chat is about making the playoffs. We're just talking about what to expect with our future matchups. Trust me, this locker room talk is a celebration for making the playoffs. You see the title. This is what we're talking about. But as fans, we're looking at what's to come for the playoff now that we know we in that damn thing. So I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but we're positive here. Trust me. But we're being realistic.
No,
well.
I'm not complaining. I'm just
I was just putting that in the chat just so that's understood because he may have joined late.
Right. I understand where Ryan comes from, but as fans, we know this offense is explosive. We know it. We've been knowing it. And so when we don't see that explosion or some type of score in the first half in the last few games, that gets frustrating because we know this offense is capable of. So we're getting out coached, and we have the player. You can't tell me this team don't have the personnel. You can't tell me. Even even at Gronk age or Brady age, he's balling right now. Man, Brady is balling.
Hey, but Gronk had to shake off that rust, and he's getting there now. Brady's situation is just getting to this offense. He's just getting to the play calling and everything, and getting adjusted. We all knew that it was going to take some time, but you know what, man? The time to be alive. We're here to witness it. When we went when we went to the playoffs in 2007, we went 9-7.
Right.
Think about that time. We went to the playoffs at 9-7.
Mm-hmm. And got stomped by the Giants.
Got stomped on, and they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we won the division and everything too. So
it was a wild card, and we got stomped on at home with Garcia at quarterback.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So who would ever thought that we go into the playoffs with Brady at 10? Right now, 10-5. It could be 10-6, or it can go with my prediction of 11-5, which I will believe will obtain depending on how Arians goes with resting players and benching them.
Do you know Seattle or the Rams, or when do they play? Do they play before or play at the same time?
They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow? Okay, then that'll determine what they're going to do. That'll determine what they're going to do next week. Because if depending on the matchup they get, that's when they'll probably facilitate it that way. But they're Mike gonna get this record. That's what's gonna happen.
That's without a doubt.
That's gonna happen. Evans gonna get his record,
especially on a division rival. You're gonna hang it up on him.
Yeah, he's gonna get that record, man. I dare say, play the game as business as usual. Honestly, man, because we still need to tune up. I mean, still tune up the offense, man. Make sure because either the offense woke up last week against Atlanta in the second half, or you know what I'm saying, or this is another mirage again. I mean, but if it didn't wake up, man, it's gonna be a problem. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a real problem. Because it's like when we woke up, we was like, oh, Brady, they get up by 17. They're like, okay, it's time to wake up now. Time to show people that we serious. And then all they do is go to commence the burying them. So like, man, come on now. You can't tell me this team is not capable of that. I mean, I know Atlanta's sorry, but come on, man. We just put up 34 points and a half. You know what I'm saying? 34 points and 1.5. And we just did it to Detroit. We did it again.
We did it again. So that shows you where the potential is. That shows you what potential we had. So
and that's what everyone's been looking at. And exactly, brother. And that's what everyone's been saying. This is the offense we should be having, without a doubt. So I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I mean, I'm happy we're in the playoffs, man. Because I knew Brady coming, and then we're getting Gronk, and then AB. There's gonna be, eyes gonna be pointing at this team, and this team ain't used to this. Every time we get, they talk about us, the next game will fall flat on our butt. But we mentioned they kept it steady. Brady kept it steady. I think Brady is, he helping them a lot better than we think. Not just in the game, but behind the scenes mentally. So I mean, I think he brings that mental aspect, and Gronk brings it as well. And you could say AB brings it because he's been to the playoffs and he's been successful his whole career. So it's just like, we got these guys that been there, especially Brady and Gronk. They've been there. They know what it takes. So it's just like, he's kind of pulling this team along. But as fans, we've been knowing, hey, this team we have good players. We just ever put it together.
Never got over that hump. Just never got over that hump. And the thing with the organization, when you don't give time to build around it, you got different philosophies like Lovie Smith, Dort Cutter, Shiano. You have all these different philosophies coming in and out, getting players in and out. You don't really give time to build foundation. You got to think. Raheem Morris thought building around Josh Freeman was an idea. And in my opinion, Josh Freeman should have never been in the NFL at all. But he got in because Raheem knew him when he was in college. That was like a who you know type of situation. So that
he
game,
was projected like fourth and fifth round.
Yeah, he was predicted that low. Next thing you know, got him in the first round. I'm like, I didn't even know who he was. I was like, who's this dude?
Right. I mean, but hey, his second year though, he went off on his second year. It was hope. Don't get me wrong. You can't. That second year after I guess Shiano got fired. I guess. Not that was Shiano. That was man. Who was that? Who was the coach? Gruden, I guess, got fired, and then I forget the timeline. But when Freeman came in and he started the whole year, his first full year, he was actually pretty decent. He had six interceptions, 20-some touchdowns.
Yeah, he looked like he had a bright spot in his future because that was that year we actually went 10-6. That's what we went 10-6 with him, and that was under Raheem's second year.
Yeah, we went 10-6, and we got cheated with the Lions with that pass interference call on Winslow.
Yeah,
and but we'd have made the playoffs, but if it wasn't for that game. But I mean, but Freeman was a bright spot anyhow. But we talking about the past. But now,
let's look to the future.
Now,
man. The playoff happened, man. So
but we always had good players, just never could get it put together. I don't know his mentality. I don't know what goes on in the locker room. But right now, it seems as though they got it put together. And this is and the time is now. Because like you said earlier, the team is going to be extremely different next year.
Yeah, because both teams are different. We're going to be different. Saints are going to be different too.
Yeah, Saints going to be different.
This is probably the last window the Saints got to do something.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it. Because
honestly, I thought 2 years ago.
I don't know how many other excuses they need to not make it to the Super Bowl every time they get that great spot and get their ass whooped in the
Right.
We all know they choke in the playoffs anyway, right? They get there just to waste the spot.
Do.
So I'm not worried about them.
Yeah.
So I'm really, if they don't make it this year, they need to just get back to the Aints days because this ain't it. Breeze ain't the same. They're gonna keep all those people. So I know they're excited. They're excited right now because they feel like this is the year. So we'll see. It may not be us.
I'll tell you, this ain't the year.
Them either.
This ain't the year.
You see Breeze wheels falling up.
If they get to the Super Bowl, they got to play the Chiefs, and the Chiefs gonna blast them. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the horses. We got the horses though.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? If the coaches can put it together.
All the Saints have is a coach. They have a coach.
Right.
That's it, Sean Payton. But there's only so much that he can do. So this is really it. This is really it for them, man. This is really it for them. And for us, this is big for us. And for them, they're hopeful. But it looks like it ain't for them, man. You got Minnesota that knocked him out on a bad play because that defense reminds me of that
Rams
too. They lost to Minnesota, and then
they lost to the Rams.
Then the Rams
they got cheated by the Rams.
They did get cheated by the Rams,
lost
but
to Minnesota
come
again.
on,
But
then they lost to
last
Minnesota
year
again to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, then they lost to Minnesota again. So it was like, golly. Man, it's like, man, and the only reason why Minnesota didn't beat them the other day because their whole defensive practice squad players.
The whole defense was out. Yeah, when we beat Minnesota, we came back and kept the lead. They kept Minnesota in the game. That's what makes it say like they're not as good as they look. They're keeping Minnesota in the game with backups though. You know what I'm saying?
And that could be attributed to play calling as well. Because if you think about it, they was moving the ball, man, and just Minnesota defense couldn't stop the run. It's just that's what it was. I mean, they was getting gashed. That's really it. So it was like
they didn't have all their starters, so it's all good. You know what, bro? I'm actually going to add somebody else in this chat. I see you got.
Oh, that's cool, man. I've been on here way too long.
No, I'm gonna add another person in here though. 1 second.
Oh, okay, cool.
Big Buck, what up?
Big Buck, what's up?
What's going on, man? The drought is over, my friend.
Good. Merry Christmas. I forgot to start with that.
Hey, Merry Christmas, my man.
Yeah. So I'm sitting back in
super chat. I got super chat by your boy 03. Let's go Bucks playoffs. Here we come. Yes, indeed. The drought is over.
Indeed. Man, it feels so good.
Let's enjoy it. I know it's just the Lions, y'all. It was just the Lions, but damn it, it's still the playoffs. It don't matter.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hey, live in Atlanta, and man, I'm talking so much cash money shit right now. Excuse my language. Man, they've been giving me the business the last few years, and we finally done broke that curse, man. So hey, Super Bowl or bust is what I say. So let's just get it together. But hey, quick question though: Can we make it to the 5th seed, or is it a lot we 6th or 7th seed?
I think we can make it to the 5th seed still. I think depends on how tomorrow goes.
The Rams will clinch a playoff spot. That's the thing.
We clinch. So it depends on where we're gonna see it. So it depends on where the Rams and the Seahawks. That game gonna tell us.
If the Cardinals win, they say the Rams will clinch a playoff spot today, and they hold a tiebreaker over us regardless. So that's why I was saying. Is it even possible to get to 5 unless Seattle wins? The only
Seattle
way?
Needs to win. Seattle needs to win because Seattle wins, they'll win the division and we'll jump them, I believe.
Okay.
And then we need to win. Then we need to win too. We need to win on the last game against the Falcons.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, we just like I said, man. I just want to be functioning on all 4 cylinders when we get to the playoffs, like a full team game, special teams. Offense, defense, but like I said, the only thing that concerns me going to the playoffs, and it feels good to say that, is the secondary. That's the only thing that I kind of got my worries about going into the playoffs. That's my only.
That's how it's been all year, man. That's how it's been on defense. That's where my concern has been with our secondary because our most experienced starter is 3 years in. So, and he even played today. Carlton Davis didn't even play today, but he didn't need to. Right. So, we get him. When Whitfield is definitely. Hold on, I didn't mean to share this chat. Where is it at? My bad. Here it is. Yeah. So James Ingram says we have to win and the Rams have to lose. And that's when we get the 5th seed.
Okay. Cool.
So like you were saying,
Seattle,
the secondary. Yeah, and Lee and I were saying that we feel comfortable playing the Seattle and beating them because their defense isn't really that good. So that would be an ideal match.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, go Seattle. But I feel comfortable against Seattle. I feel what we need is the NFC East team, and that's what we need. If we can get them, man, I think we'll beat Washington. It'll be a tough game, but we should beat them. I mean, but we on the road, so we play well on the road apparently.
Yeah, we do, and we play better when it's not prime time, or not prime time, but not late night games. So if we play games at 1 o'clock, we the team to beat.
Right.
We play much better at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely. If we see the Rams again, is that going to be a totally different? Are they going to go with Brady's offense opposed to trying to run the other offense, so to speak? I don't want to mention that.
All I want to know is we need to run the offense that works. We need to run the offense that clicks.
Run the offense that
we get protection
back in Atlanta.
They need to commit when the playoffs start. Commit to running the ball, because that's how teams win. If you can run the ball late in December into January, those are the teams that's gonna make the deep run. And I think we have the bats that can do that if they use them right. And I think Leftwich, he's got to realize too, in certain situations, you got to be able to just throw the ball. Like, you can't have style points like if it's 2nd and 1, you just have to just go ahead and get the first down. I mean, if you want to take a shot, that's cool. But like I said, if you don't ran the ball 4 straight times, let's do that. Because the biggest thing is we have to control the clock. I mean, I'm sorry, the line of scrimmage. So we should be good. Sorry about that, kids running all over. Sorry about that.
You're all good. You're all good. Let me ask you something. I asked this to Lee. Where were you at? You don't got to say your age now, but where were you at when the Bucks last made the playoffs?
I was in my senior year undergrad.
Okay. Because that was Gruden, Garcia. I'm just saying. So let's just go down memory lane. If you're a Bucks fan in the chat, Bucks fans in the chat, say in the comments where you were last time we're in the playoffs. Grad school, my man.
Sorry. That was man. Man.
Bucks fans, if you're in the chat, I mean, you can join the chat to talk, but if you're not going to join, it's cool. But put in the chat where you were the last time the Buccaneers made the playoffs. You don't got to say your age, but just say where you at, what you're doing, and let's just think about the struggle we had.
Right.
Think about the times we've seen that we missed. You know what I
mean? Hard times, bro. Hard times.
Hard times. We've gotten close. Like I said, since 2007, we went 10-6. And 2010, and then 9-7 in 2016, and we missed that because of just how some other teams played out.
Right.
So now we end already at 10-5, and then we can go 11-5, which is my prediction. Somebody said 3rd grade, man, junior year.
God, dog.
Hey, I ain't gonna front. 2007. I graduated high school in 2007.
Wow, yeah.
Man.
Hey, I'm gonna jump off. Let me get these kids straight, but I'm gonna try to get back on if y'all still online. Appreciate the chat.
Yeah, we're here for a minute, man. No problem, Bucks.
Yeah, it's been a while, bro. It's been a good hot minute.
Yeah, man, it has been. And I mean, but see, those that are true stick to it. And and that's why I ask people, where were you? Because you got people that are just going to say, oh, well, I remember watching this person. No. No, that ain't it, man. You know when you're a Bucs fan or a true fan to a team, and you can say, man, I was in this grade, I was in this point in time, and this is when I remember celebrating it.
Right. Man, it's just been a tough sled, man. I mean, as a Bucs fan, I mean, because every year we would see potential, especially the last 3-4 years, especially with Jameis, because I was a big Jameis fan. And the year when they got Dirk Carter, and they went 9-7. I thought the next year we was gonna blow up. I was like, this is it. It's time to turn the page. And then I don't know what happened. I think the first game. Hold on. I think the first game we won, but after that we just got blasted back to back. So, and then Bruce Arians come, and I mean, it's kind of more the same last year, mainly probably because of turnovers. But this year, I mean, with Brady, I knew Brady's going to be the difference. I honestly thought Brady's going to be the difference, because I think he's going to have to get these people, he's going to get them their mindset straight, and he's going to cut down on half the turnovers. So if you cut down on half the turnovers, then I knew we were going to be a pretty decent team at least.
Yeah.
And so we're pretty decent right now. But my mind, with the roster I see, I think I expect us to be super explosive, especially on offense. Now, defense, like I said, average to above. But as long as your offense could carry the load, then we'll be okay. So, I mean, just if they continue to click like they have the last two games, like the second half of the Falcons, first half of the Detroit, even the second half of Detroit, Blaine Gabbert threw 2 touchdowns. Blaine Gabbert threw 2 touchdowns.
Blaine Gabbert looked like a feature right there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's if you could just plug in I mean, he was not accurate on some throws, a few throws that have probably kept their chains moving. But man, I mean, if they put up that, it's like they understood what they had to do today, and they came out. They just stop playing around, do what we got to do, get out of here, and go on to the next one, on to Atlanta or whatever it is. Take it one game at a time. So it's just I'm ecstatic, man. I'm happy that how they won. Really, I mean, I knew it was gonna be a dub, but I'm like how they won.
Yeah. I got another person about to join the chat. I got my boy Tobias going to jump in. I know he got some trash to say because Alabama got some big games coming up, so he really feeling good now because he's a Bama boy and a Bucs fan, so you're going to let it be loud and proud. Tobias, what up, my boy?
What's going on, fellas? Hey, Bama defense is trash. I don't know what's trash. Their defense last week of the Detroit's. But, all right, I'm glad this team made the playoffs. But I gotta be a Debbie Downer. I have Super Bowl of bust expectations. Because I believe if they kept Jameis, they would have made the playoffs. Because improvement with the system and all that. Carson Palmer even said that after 1 year to the next. And I was there. That was granted. But with that being said, I feel like it's like bringing LeBron to the Lakers. Just making the playoffs ain't good enough because you got to capitalize on this year. And I know certain. And I think it's like analyzing this team. You already know how the game gonna turn out by who they play. If this team cannot, if their opponent, the Bucs opponent, cannot rush the passer and put pressure on Brady, they losing. It's just that simple. That's why I thought it'd be a 10-win team. But when they played the dumb Falcons in Detroit, who's just a mess, I seen Church League's team put up a better performance. They're gonna get 11 wins, but that's a stat I want Bucs fans to think about. I'm glad they're making the playoffs, and but in the 2 years Arians been in, they only beat one playoff team.
Yep,
you ain't playing the Lions, the Panthers. So, and Brady's gonna get his jersey dirtied up in the postseason, depending who they playing on the matchup. Yeah. It's so especially to get that 5th seed against Washington. Because Washington's offense is trash. Hopefully Haskins goes to the strip club again. But
hey, Lee, I told Lee that, and I've been saying it all year, Tobias. I said Washington is one team I do not want to see because that defense is something serious. And now the offense ain't nothing, but that defense can keep them in the game. And the defense will put them in a position to win. And we all know the line ain't what it needs to be with 76 on the left side. And they have so many doggone pass rushers. Brady ain't going to want to see that.
Yep. And that's something I tell people. This NFC playoffs is all about matchups. The Bucs could beat Seattle. Seattle's defense is not good, especially the back end. The Rams, even though I think Jared Goff along with Carson Wentz are in the all excuses club because the media likes them, along with Matthew Stafford, of course. But Sean McVay has a coaching advantage. Remember what they did the last time they played. He ran the clock down, so Bowles had no choice but to show what set he was in. And then Goff took advantage of that. And I just think it's all about matchup. The Saints, they can't block the Saints. Even though Drew Brees is washed, they can't block New Orleans. And that's just something that that's just about matchups. But they should beat the Packers again because the Packers are soft. Yep. And so it's all about the matchups with this team.
That's something that I was telling Lee because it was asked, what do you think we're going to do for this last game? Because that could decide where we play our first game. Because if we're 60, we're playing NFC West, Seattle or LA Rams. But we finish 5th, we'll play Washington. So I say if we play Washington, like I said, like I've always said, that's the team I don't want to see knowing this line. If we play Seattle, that can be a shootout. That could be a game that we can line it up because both secondaries aren't great. I feel like we have an edge, but their secondary has shown not to be great because they don't use Jamal Adams like they bring him up in the box to make tackles and blitz. But when you have to rely on the safety to do that, that just says that you don't have that protection down deep. You're relying on stopping it before it gets down there.
Yep, and I think like because if the Bucs have even been more competitive against the Saints, I would feel better about the team. I know sometimes you may slip on a banana peel, miss a kick, something like that. But even though I think Breeze is washed, but I don't think they'll see them. And Peyton loves Taysom Hill more than I don't like he's his kid. But anyway, but I'm glad but coaching is a big deal. Yep. And I think are missing that. Because yes, I know Brady's a new quarterback, but he also brought in Gronk, who's one of the best pass blocking tight ends ever. You got AB out there I know people love Scotty Miller. But who would you rather have on that field, AB or Scotty Miller? Because AB could do more things. And
because of experience.
Yeah.
He brings experience.
And plus, he could go up and get the ball, too, because he's stronger. Scotty, you got to put that ball perfect. And when last time I see Scotty Miller jump up and get contested catch, fight a defender? There's no knock against him, but AB could do more things. And I think that could help in these cold weather playoff games because he has played these cold weather games. He has played on these rough fields. So if they play Washington, that field was like the field in the project, how bad that field going to look in the winter. You already know that. So, and I think they got to see next week against the Falcons. Since they already clinched the playoffs, if on them, I will be run heavy. Establish that run. Because if the weather's bad, that high flying ain't going to work. Ask the Eric Coryell offense in the 70s and 80s. All the Houston Oilers back in the day. Your high flying passing game ain't going to work like that in the cold. Your defense and your running game and your offensive line travels in any weather. And I just think that's what they need to work on next week is to run that football and establish that run.
Your point, Tobias, to your point, I think if we don't telegraph our run plays, I think that's one of the biggest problems. We telegraph the run plays. I mean, and we don't do nothing. We don't try to do anything tricky or anything. It's either going to the A gap or maybe the B gap, barely doing tosses. You know, we barely do counters, traps. It's just straight up. You know what we have with our running, and that's why the one grain's not, to me, it's not effective because they don't scheme it in such a way that it can be effective.
Yep.
And people talk about getting running backs in here and all that. It don't matter what running back if your scheme is the same way and you telegraphing a run, the defense don't know what to do. True. And like Travis said, as fans, if we know we about to run as fans, what you think the defense know?
You're right. And one thing, Lee, watching the 49ers game, look at how many running backs that we never heard of that you played mad and they got a silhouette. They don't have a picture. And they getting 1,000 yards because how he schemed the game. He schemes the run. And that's how you do it in today's NFL because these coaches are too smart nowadays. It ain't the whole, we going to line up and hit you in the mouth and let's go. It don't work that way anymore. And I think that we're going to hurt this team in the playoffs, the lack of creativity.
Yeah, to 49ers, Burrito was undrafted. Mozart was undrafted. The only person that was drafted was Tevin Coleman, and he was drafted in the 5th round.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, how you scheme your offense is what makes it go. I mean, if we can do that properly, we'll be good. But till then, I mean, that's why the run game will be better if we had better scheming, in my opinion. So it's the coaching, like Tobias said, it's based on the coaching.
Yep, because coaching and what people don't realize, I know a lot of fans, we just look at the players, but a lot of times, like even New England, they didn't always have the stars or the names. They beat you with coaching. Even like college football, Nick Saban, LSU, Georgia, Florida, these teams had just as many good players, but it's coach. times. And like what you do in those situations, and what people don't realize also in offense, it's not about calling plays. It's about running the offense. Because you can call a play, but you got to run the offense, time like down and distance, saying, okay, we will attack this weak spot. And we're not going to run on first down every time. We're going to take a shot or throw a screen pass, get Brady in a rhythm early. That was one of the things I hated about the scheme last year. Get your quarterback in a rhythm early. Then let's go ahead and take those shots like they done recently. And I think these past couple of teams they played, because neither one of them none of these teams could put pressure on Brady, gave him the opportunity to get in a rhythm. But I want to see them when they're against a team that could put that pressure on them. Because we saw Mahomes did to the Saints. The Saints was pressuring the hell out of him. The Dolphins pressure the hell out of him.
You saw the Dolphins did too now.
Yeah, I'm going to say, yep.
If the Chiefs didn't get that special teams touchdown, the Dolphins could have won that game.
Yep, and pressure. And that's why I tell people, it's not about the sacks a lot of times. It should hit that quarterback early, especially one who can't move like Brady. He going to be tap dance like the late Gregory Hines. Shout out to Stephen A on that one. But that's what you got to do. And because I believe if you can't get home with 4 against the Bucs, just blitz them. You just got to trust your corners to go against those wideouts. Because if you sit there and play a zone, they got too many guys, and they just gonna get up. Somebody's gonna get open, and that's why I worry about the matchup. I want to see the matchup first before I get my Super Bowl trophy out.
Yeah, man. It's all about placement, y'all, because that's something that even that's something Belichick would do whenever he had Brady. They would lose some games when it came to this time of the year because of the playoff matchups. Because if Steelers were a better team, they didn't want to see the Steelers in the playoffs. They would like to play the Broncos or the Colts because the Steelers were a better team. And then surprisingly, either the Steelers would be taken out or somebody else would take out the Patriots. So it was, it's all strategy in this. It's not just who you playing in front of you. It's like, okay, now you have a little bit of control about who you're going to play in the playoffs, so that that you're in your seeding, especially as a wild card. So, I wouldn't mind getting that 5th seed. And I said, and I'm going to be consistent. The Redskins, the Washington football team, I respect what they can do, but I know if we got Seattle, that's a more obtainable game. And it's going to be a shootout. I'm not going to say we're going to beat them, but they're a much more beatable team. Because, it comes down to – I'm a defensive guy. So I can sit there and say, if you got the defense to do it, they can take you far. We all seen what happened with the Bears against Gross.
Yeah. Hell, they got 6 wins with Trubisky and Nick Foles as quarterback this year with that defense, And that's the point. If you have a defense, that can cover up if your offense doesn't have it that day, and especially in that weather. Look what happened those 2 Brady Super Bowl losses to the Giants. Giants didn't have great offenses those games, but those front 4 both times was putting heat on Brady. And I hope this offensive staff understands that. That's why I wanted AB to keep getting touches. Because he is a quick twitch receiver. Evans and Godwin aren't. No knock against them. That's just how God made them. They still great. But AB is a quick twitch guy where if Brady getting that heat, he could do a quick slant, a quicker out, get out his breaks faster, and could do something with it. That's why I wanted him to keep getting more snaps so they could get in that rhythm together.
Well, and the coaches got to scheme up a hot for it when they blitz because they're going to blitz. So they got to scheme up hots instead of a 7 drop passing play. Where your hots at, man? Where your hot routes at, man? What are underneath stuff at? So, Brady need to throw that thing off quick because they about to come. Because, if you get them going like that, like you said, it's going to disrupt Brady.
Yeah. And look at I hate to bring this guy's name up. Look at how Sean Payton been scheming his offense. He got one guy who can't throw a lick, and look how he schemed him. And Drew Brees, I don't understand how his passes don't be getting picked off. Those things be ducks. And look how he schemed those offenses. And I think Arians got to understand, you always got to have a check down option. Everybody can't go deep. You got to have a hot because these guys are going to come because you're going against the better Ds. And with Seattle, ever since they picked up Carlos Dunlap, their pass rush has gotten better. And that's something right there in itself. And I do think with this, our defense, the secondary can be had. We know that. Devin White can be taken advantage of in coverage. Great blitzer, great run stopper. Gotta give him credit. He came a long way from entering college as a running back. So to get as far as he did, switch those positions, good on him. But that is something that if they could if teams block the Bucs front, they can have the secondary. And that's why I think that pass rush from the Bucs could come in. Can they get home without having a blitz all the time? Because if you blitz all the time, these teams could go like the Rams did. Just keep throwing hot, make a guy miss. We get 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they don't stun enough on the defensive line. I mean, they need to scheme. They can scheme people to get open without blitzing. I mean, they can do loop arounds and whatnot. We don't do enough of that. And when they do it, it's beautiful. I mean, I just they don't dial it up as much. But I mean, like you said, man, the pass rush, man, we have to be able to get to the quarterback. So we gonna stop the run, but the run defense has been pretty suspect the last couple of games.
Yeah,
I'm not used to people running for 15 yards. I'm like, what's going on?
So something that showed that this running defense isn't as good as it's projected to be is that Minnesota game, because when Dalvin Cook got over 100 yards, and then it was over 100 yards rushing total. But Dalvin got over 100 yards first time, I think, since Chris Carson, they said. That's simply because, we can stop the run, but when it's easier to pass on us, why are you going to run anyway?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of teams didn't have to do that against us. But with the Vikings, that was their bread and butter. They thrive off the run game to make their passing game work, and Dalvin makes it work. We know that. We saw that in college, and what he's brought that in. As long as he's healthy, he's running the ball. You can pull any type of defense with him as your weapon, because you don't know if he's going to get the ball 8 out of those 10 plays, whether he's catching it or running it.
Yep. And one thing about the run defense, even the pass rush, Vita Vea's missed. He may not put up a lot of stats because not just the run D. Even when he first as a rookie and Gerald McCoy was on the side, Vita was getting the double teams. He could push the pocket back. Your quarterback cannot step up in the pocket. And that would have helped JPP and Shaq out more. Because Shaq is more like an effort pass rusher. He's not like that guy who could just beat you based off speed or whatever. Nothing wrong with that. You just scheme around that. And that's why I think Vita Vea and him really complement each other well. And because a lot of times Vita pushed that pocket, dude steps up, Shaq got him. Same with JPP. And God forbid any one of them go down or get a nagging injury, because the Bucs have gotten really lucky.
So far, yes.
Like injuries front.
Yes.
COVID front. Got real lucky.
And with this offensive line we had, and I said this in the beginning, and I'm gonna knock on wood because we still got one more game. I'm just saying I'm happy Brady has been healthy. I'm happy Brady has been healthy so far, because we're in the playoffs, but we don't want to lose them before the playoffs start. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep them 100%. We don't want to rush them like the Saints did to Breeze, because you see Breeze is hurting. They're desperate. They're desperate right now. They're desperate. That's why once they lost to the Eagles, they're like, we got to get Breeze back right now. So they rushed him back in.
Yeah, they were telling Breeze, "Hey, Breeze, can you breathe? Oh, if you breathe, come on, let's go."
Because this boy can't throw.
Unfortunately for him, the Chiefs defense ain't that great. Vikings defense is terrible. So he's still not 100% in the playoffs. They won and done. They won and done just as much as we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because if and buts about it.
And speaking of pass rush, a lot of Bucs fans may not know this stat. The leading sack artist of the Vikings is Yannick Ngakoue. He got traded over a month ago. He still leads the team in sacks.
I didn't know that. He in Baltimore, right?
They traded for him, and then when they saw that they was gonna not make the playoffs, they traded him to the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Daniil Hunter's hurt. Everson Griffin, they didn't pick him up. Linval Joseph, man, it's just crazy.
All right, y'all. I got Big Bucks back in here with us, and I see he made it back. Now I wanted to ask you this, Tobias, because I saw what you put in the chat, but Lee said this on the stream. Big Buck said it on the stream, but so you need to say it yourself. In 2007, you were just getting deployed when the Bucks made the playoffs.
Yeah, I was in the Middle East, man, and ironically, I still live in Phoenix now. I was stationed there at the base here in Phoenix, and the Super Bowl was there that year. So if they would have won those playoff games, I would have gone to the Super Bowl. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice. And somebody wanted to ask you. Somebody asked you this earlier, Tobias. What are you sipping on? Because it looks like you're sipping on something special for this occasion of us making the playoffs.
Oh nah. Hey man. Hey, I'm a long way from Alabama, man. I'm on these pineapple juice mimosas, man.
No judgment, my friend. No judgment.
Man. We all know brunch is the best cheap day ever. Take a lady to brunch, get those mimosas, you good to go, man. That's all I got to say.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Because I have people in the chat saying what they sipping on for this big achievement we did today, ending the drought, y'all. So if we had to pick, would y'all want to get that 5th seed, or would y'all want to stick around that 6th seed and just go against the NFC West?
I would say honestly, 5th seed sounds like it would be the easiest route to make a deep run, but you have the unexpected with Washington if they win, because you don't know what to expect in that playoff game. And Alex Smith, that's Captain Check down, and he's a game manager. He's not going to turn the ball over. So that I would say theoretically the 5th seed, but I kind of wouldn't mind going to the 6th seed because we would have a leg up, because we would play a team that odds are we've already seen. We would see maybe the Rams again if they won the division, or I like our chances going to Seattle because I don't think their defense can match up with our offense. It's a game of matchups, and I think that will provide a better matchup for us offensively for their defense.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I say the 6th seed, and like Big Bucks was right on that. But one thing I bring up, the last couple of times the division winner who got in under 500, many times they won the playoff game. The Panthers won at that time.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. You definitely right. They always, the team that's under 500, they won.
Yeah, and the thing I look at is get that 6th seed, because remember there's a lot of young players on this team as well who ain't been there. Mike Evans is still a young guy, ain't been there. So you don't want nobody getting inflated saying how great you are and you ain't done jack squat. And you play that 6th seed, and you going against a big time team where you might be an underdog. You playing the Rams, or like even Seattle, where you can probably focus more and not think of this as a win because of someone's record.
Mm-hmm. Now let's put this into perspective, y'all. Since 2007, we've seen players come and go, coaches come and go, and we've had certain players stick around. Players mainly Levante David, and Gerald McCoy was on NFL Network talking to the guys, and he said that he says he's still a Bucks fan because he always been one, and he was talking to Levante David. And Levante David said, "Man, if we make the playoffs, man, I might just cry because that man went to so many coaches."
Mm-hmm.
He's 30 now, so he's near the tail end of his career. He's still playing great overall as a linebacker. So think about the guys that have been loyal to this team and stuck around.
I mean, Levante, he's the longest tenured Buck right now on the roster. Levante, he's the longest tenured Buck. Levante, he's the longest tenured Buck on the roster.
Yeah, because Gerald McCoy was drafted 2 years before him, and he's a free agent.
I hate to say this, but it was just time to move on from McCoy. I mean, the expectation for a lot of Tampa fans, he was going to be another Warren Sapp, and he was. He just didn't fit that mold. Man, he was a great player, but it was just that was the smart thing to do to move on. But I felt like they should have cut bait with him earlier than later. So that's how I feel with that.
Hey, I'm told that you get a lot of echo, Big Bucks.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you good?
Okay.
You good? But guys, this is a good moment. I know some people haven't been able to get into the chat, so let's enjoy this victory Saturday. See how games play out tomorrow, and then we'll look to our last game of the regular season, because you know what, y'all? There's no doubt about it. We're in the playoffs. Like, if it's about it, we are in the playoffs. So I'm excited for this. I'm happy to see this with the team, the organization. I know the haters are loving it. That's why they're trying to jump in this chat. And you already know me. Y'all can say whatever you want. It's all good. We already got the squad. You know what I mean? We in here.
Yeah. Can I ask y'all a question real quick? How much do you think they should play the starters next week?
A half.
Yeah, I was saying a half, depending on the score. And that, like I said, I believe that depends on where the score is and where the seeding will be. So I think just for important reasons, you don't want to play your starters full game, because that is where you can lead to injury. You're already in the playoffs. You're in. You're trying to make a run. You already know you're on a Super Bowl or bust. So you don't want to lose any of those key pieces to get to that Super Bowl while you got them. We can take a loss and go 10-6, but we get that double 11-5. It's really just going to be seed placement, 5th or 6th seed. So I think after we see how the games play out Sunday, going into Saturday, I say at least a half. I would say at least a half, and then see what goes from there.
Do you try to get Mike Evans' record, or Rojo get 1,000 yards?
They're gonna get him his record. Brady's all about giving that record to players. And since he had such a big game today, he doesn't need a huge game next week.
That's why I think a half, because he don't need 40 yards to do it.
Yeah,
so he
got 40 yards. So
just throw it, just run a bomb on the first play. If you get over 40 yards, then pull him.
Yep, because I say play a half. Because you remember last year, I know Baltimore had to bye. They didn't play the last game of the year. They was off the wild card weekend, had to bye. And then you had 3 weeks off. I say play a half. And then just win or lose, just pull everybody. Because you still got some rhythm in there. And then you go and pull these people, because people don't realize it's not about getting hit, you get hurt. You can just do a regular cut and tear your knee up or something, or sprain an ankle. Or the offensive line get rolled up on.
Eric Kendricks just hurt his own leg warming up before the game against Jacksonville.
Yep. So
what about if they just had a vanilla game plan and they played all the starters all 4 quarters? Like, it's a very vanilla game, like just simple stuff. Would y'all have any objections to that? Or I would be fine if they played the whole game, but it was very vanilla, like he just had the ball off the whole game. He ran it like 35 plus times. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, if it's like maybe Vaughn and McCoy get most of the carries, I'll be fine with that. Just let your younger players play.
Yeah, because I will let I'll probably give Godwin a half, sit him down. He's been banged up a lot. I will actually run with AB and Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson.
What is this discussion like? AB done came on all of a sudden, like he pushing Scotty Miller out. Because I'm just like, why y'all can't find a way to get all of them on the field at the same time? I want to see that, just to see what the matchup will be and where he'll go. Like, I really want to see that. When they go 5 wide, I want to see AB and Scotty Miller to the slot, and on the flip side, I want to see Evans and Godwin to the other side. I just want to see what the coverage will be like. That's all I want to see.
You're gonna be screwed. You better get up. You better have a hot, like you said earlier, because they're gonna come with that blitz. But you're right, though. I would like to run Skip Vaughn some carries too. I watched him today. He's so much quicker than Leonard Fournette.
Fournette is just, he has to get going for him. He has to run straight ahead. I mean, he can cut a little bit, but that's not, to me, that's just not his strong suit. So I feel like when Jones come back, I think that'll add another element to the running game just because of his ability. And then, like I said, Fournette I forgot he was on a 1-year deal, so he'll be out there next year. So it'll be Vaughn and Jones next year. But I think you have to go with Jones as being a more featured back. Like, you got to give him third down shots now. Like, he has to be able to block or be able to receive on third down. Like, he just can't play him first and second down anymore. So But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm just our focus should be on just making sure we're ready for the playoffs. Like just getting ready for this. Like I said, man, I ain't said this in 13 years. It feels good to stay playoffs.
You ain't lying.
It feels good.
Hey man, I'll take it. I'll take it, y'all. You know, a lot of people hated on us when the season started, but I mean that's what people do. That's what people do, especially from people. You know, we know what it's like to lose. We get it good, we appreciate it. And you got those people that have won, and they've been used to losing, and they don't know that, like they don't know what it's like. So they get too big headed.
But see, that's cool. That's the whole division. That's the whole division, though. They act like they always won, and they forget what y'all done. Tampa has already done. That's what they fail to realize. I mean, it would have been sweet to win the division, but I'll take it.
Yeah. I think one thing. I always look at trends. I didn't know this. Brady's never made the Super Bowl where he didn't have the first round bye. And that would be a first in itself on a new team if they could pull that off. But I didn't realize. I thought he may have made a wild card run, but they never did. But part of that because the division it was in.
He's never made a deep run as a wild card team, though. He's never got past the divisional as a wild card team, if I'm not mistaken.
And he never won 2 road games for the same playoffs. So this is going to be a lot of firsts here for him as well, where he got to play back-to-back road games and seeing that he could win multiple road games in the same playoffs. And so it's going to be very interesting to see as well because he don't go against tougher teams. And I think but it's going to be fun watching them in the playoffs instead of seeing who they're going to pick in the top 10 for once.
Yeah, I'm glad of that. That feels real good. You know,
and you know, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, the Bucs have just been trying to figure out what we can do, and so when it comes to playoff time, we know what place to work, what will work, and how to utilize this offense finally, because this will be the time to do it and keep the hot streak going.
Mm-hmm.
And but the biggest thing will be this defense, you know, especially secondary. We get the secondary right and get those get those right assignments when it comes to covering those fast receivers, those big receivers. So we can go far in this thing, yo. We can get that Super Bowl. I definitely believe it. But it's going to come down to coaching because it has been just an egotistical thing happening down there in Tampa.
Honestly, it's been that way since BA got there.
Yeah.
With his ego. And that's why I said when Brady signed with Tampa, Bruce Arians' deficiencies are going to be highlighted because the fall guy ain't there no more. You know?
Yeah, the young guy.
Yeah.
Minus Carson Palmer.
Yeah. And so what happened was, I was like, last year, I was like, why they ain't moving the guy more? Because he was best when he was moving. Bruce Arians didn't want that. Bruce Arians said, get to 250, you're going to take hits. What kind of coach tell their quarterback going to take a lot of hits? But you notice this year, I'm glad the GM stepped up and was like, hey, we're going to get this stud offensive tackle and worse. And I think Brady has the clout as a 20-year vet, a 6-time Super Bowl champ to say, we ain't doing this. You know?
Somebody to argue with him.
Yeah. And, because Arians, besides Carson Palmer, but remember, Carson Palmer came out of retirement. He wasn't looking so good when he got to Arizona at first. But he primarily worked with young guys, Arians. This is the first time he worked with a quarterback that was an established veteran who was at the top of his game.
Exactly.
And so young guys ain't going to question the coach for the most part. They're going to be like, all right, coach, I do what you tell me to do. Brady, he going to be like, this is stupid. Why are we doing all these outs and saying that you notice that out pass that even he and Winston kept getting pick six on? When the last time Brady thrown that pass?
Was it the Rams game?
Yep, that was it. And I think it got picked off then. You know?
It did. That's what I'm thinking. That was the last, and like I said earlier in the chat, whenever Brady has not thrown as many picks as Winston, his picks have come at the worst time.
Yeah.
If you think about it, those picks have come at the time where we needed to get a touchdown and get a lead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the picks he's thrown have come at the worst time in the game, the pivotal points in the game. But he has limited them overall, so that has helped us out. Plus, the defense is a lot better.
Yep. And what happens, I think people got to realize, this is the first year that we can really say this team is good in a long time. And that people forget, for like 2 years in a row, a couple years ago, they went 5-11, but they were in salary cap hell. How are you in salary cap hell and you 5-11? You know?
Or unorganized.
Yes. So now this team has finally gotten good, and they had a lot of young players come in that's finally maturing. Even though I still think that's not a big fan of our cornerback room, I'm not. But like Devin White's growing up, I think Devin White is who he is, a good run defender, blitzer, but pass coverage, he is going to be who he is. Ain't no knock around it. You just got to limit it. Yeah. But like Vita Vea, if he can stay healthy, that's the big thing with him, because he missed time every single season so far. And if he can stay healthy, that's the force.
Gerald McCoy did too when he started. Remember, Joe McCoy would miss the season. He got hurt his first couple seasons too.
Yep, and that's a force. And because remember, even though Vita Vea broke his leg, he's a 350-pound man. So hopefully that he'll come back from that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and so I think that you got some young players they finally hit on the draft with Winfield and Wirfs. And like that, Rojo growing up. And now I don't think Rojo is great, but I think he's damn solid and is a good back. He's good enough to have, because you don't have many Adrian Petersons or Dalvin Cooks walking through the door. You know, he just don't want Peyton Barber being a starting running back. You know.
Let's not talk about that again.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, y'all coach BA thought that was a good idea to run him as a starter. But anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of players on this team that grew up and gotten better and got developed more. Because the past couple of coaching staffs didn't develop these players. And that's from all positions.
Yeah.
And what if Gerald McCoy had a good coach to develop him, or even Mike Evans Young or Winston or some of these other players who had development coming up, and that they might have been in better spots as well. And his team would have been in a better spot, most importantly.
Yeah. You're speaking truth right there. But hey, man, thank you for jumping on this chat. Thank you for letting your perspective be known as you do so well. And you enjoy your pineapple mimosa out there in Arizona, my man.
Hey, it's hot out here, man. It's not as cold as back in Alabama. It's still a little warm, man. Hey, you guys have a good holiday. Thanks for having me on. You guys,
you got that dry heat.
Yeah, and I'm just happy to be in the playoffs, man. And I hope they prove me wrong and win a championship. I look forward to being wrong, but I look forward to going through the ride this year.
Yeah, and that's something that we say that we haven't done since 2007. So now, when the season's over, we can at least appreciate the second part of the season and go on that roller coaster that we haven't felt in a while now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and I know we gotta appreciate this because we already know Super Bowl of us. We have a small window as it is. What we did, we invested in winning now, so that's what we want.
Yeah, and then also one thing investing now. You got some big free agents coming up. Godwin, Shaq. You might have to make a decision on one of those guys. We're gonna have to. And you might have to pick Shaq because of the defensive end. And that's a tough decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to, because you can't pay two receivers top dollar in a hard cap league.
But the thing with Godwin that has on Evans is youth. He has youth on him, so we can, you can invest on something that has a more time left on the shelf. Mike's been there for some time. I like to keep Mike because Mike has proven to be a team player, and I'm all about guys that build around and they're too money hungry. So that's why I am. But you know what, bro? That's a topic that we'll have to look into after this. Right?
It's a tough one, man. It is tough. It is a tough decision, but it's a decision that, as an organization, you would love to have to make because that means you hit on players.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
But like I said, but thanks for having me on, and you guys out there have a great holiday and stay safe out there.
Thank you, man. You too, man. Happy holidays.
All right, peace.
All right, y'all. So I'm not going to keep this going too much longer. Had this go for over an hour and a half. But hey, man, Bucks fans, Bucks haters that got in the chat, chimed in on this big moment for us. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for putting your chats in there. Even you Saints fans that came in here trying to hate. I give y'all 5 minutes, all right? This is all good, man. It's all trash talk. It's a sports thing. It's all good. I ain't taking it personal, but we're here to celebrate something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to see y'all came in. Y'all came in and chimed in on what y'all were drinking tonight on this big old victory we got. I know it was the Lions, but what's behind the victory is what's to be celebrated. We made the playoffs again since 2007. Super Bowl or bust. We got over that hump, so now the next hump is getting through the playoffs. Now, I'll be honest with you. The way this team has been, and I've always said the most consistent at being inconsistent, you never know what team you're going to get. But we know that we're not going to get a team like we got against the Lions. We're playing some real playoff teams. Truthfully, the NFC is up for grabs. It can go to us. It can go to the Packers. It can go to the Saints. It can go to the Seahawks, Washington, go to the Rams. Whoever's in the playoffs, it's up for grabs. It's on how the game is going to be played. It's going to be how it's left on the field. It's going to be how it's coached, how it's executed. You could be the number one team and lose to the team with a worse record than you because that team wanted it more. If you're a football fan, you know that. We all know what we have at stake as our team, as fans. So we saying Super Bowl or bust because this ain't going to be the same team next year. This ain't a team that's growing. This team is winning now. So now that we made it in the playoffs, we may have not won the division, but we're in the playoffs, damn it. That's what matters. We've seen wild cards make it. Why not us? We won a Super Bowl before. There's been teams that are great, lose to a team that didn't expect to. I know I'm repeating myself, but we've seen it, y'all. So now we can enjoy that next part of football. So shout out to the Sea Bandits. Shout out to the Skull Gang. Shout out to the Bucks Gang. Shout out to the Bucks fans all around. Shout out to the Saints fans for giving us the hate because y'all give us the love and motivate, man. You know your time is up too. So this is just a great time, man. This is just a great feeling. So no matter what was said on here, no matter what was going on behind the scenes, I'm grateful as a fan. I'm grateful as an individual with this BucosLocker chat. Shout out to Isaiah for keeping it strong while I was gone. Shout out to him for the work. This channel is growing, y'all. Hit that like button. I saw some people say they missed the notification. Hit that. Make sure your notifications are on. Tune in because it's gonna be something different with the playoffs. We're gonna talk about it. Win or lose, it's gonna be talked about. It's gonna be discussed. This is just a great moment. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my Saturday because I got another day off. Bucks fans, victory Saturday, victory Sunday. We're in the playoffs now. There's no doubt. We don't need any special thing to happen. We don't need to win and have a team tie, a team lose to see if we're gonna make it. We in this damn thing. Feel good about it. Don't let the haters bring you down. Because they're just mad that they can appreciate it. Or they know their time is up. Everybody have a happy holidays. Everybody appreciate the weekend, appreciate your family. Share this video so any other Bucks fan or any team that hates the Bucks, because they're going to tune in and give us the attention we need, and we love it. We love it. Because y'all come in, all y'all trolls that want to come in here, I had to put y'all in your place. I give y'all 5 minutes. I put you in timeout. And then I had the shooters come and get you. Then I had to shut you down. Because you ain't taking over this stream, y'all. This stream was about love and positivity. Y'all are just scared. I'll say it loud and I'll say it proud. Y'all are just scared because y'all know your window's closing too, Saints fans. We admit what we got at stake. Y'all need to admit it too. All right? You see who it is. This is Travis checking in with you on BucosLocker. The playoff has been clinched. Raise the flag. Fire the cannon. Let it be loud and proud. The Bucks are in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl or bust.